everybody, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, Chatting with Chops. My name is Karen and I try to make fun and entertaining videos that might teach you something. And today is another baking video. We are going to try and make a recipe called cafe coffee cookies and try and see if we can make them vegan. So I don't think it's going to be that hard. Again, it's just replacing egg and butter. So those recipes seem to respond better to veganizing them, but we'll see how it goes. So let's get started. So the first thing the recipe asks you to do is take and put a half a cup of granulated sugar, half a cup of brown sugar, and a half a cup of butter. Of course, we're using vegan olive oil butter in here, and then it asks you to also add in 1 egg, and we have added in our 2 ounces of unsweetened applesauce, and we're going to mix this up until it's blended smoothly, and that'll be our very first step, as well as you need to preheat your oven 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's get started on all that fun stuff. Thing we need to do is put in our next bit of ingredients, and that's what the batter looks like at the moment. So I think that looks pretty good. And then the next thing that it asks us to do is mix in the flour, coffee, and baking soda. And it also asks for salt, but if you remember from my previous videos, I don't like putting salt in my recipes unless it's bread. Alright, so it wants 1.5 cups flour. And my flour has decided to go everywhere. Okay. Alright, so that's 1 cup. Alright, so 1.5 cups of flour. Then we need 1 tablespoon of the coffee grounds, or you can use espresso as well. I just use regular coffee grounds, and it wants 1 tablespoon. So we'll just put that right in there. And if you don't know, coffee grounds are great for enhancing the flavor of chocolate. So you can put that in regular recipes as well. Not even recipes that ask for coffee. And it really enhances the flavor of the chocolate. And then 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Alright, so we're just going to mix that in and let it be nice and smooth. Okay. So now the last thing that you want to do is stir in your chocolate chunks. So let me get this out of here and get everything, all the batter off of my beater, because that could be an extra cookie, I always say. So got that. And then just make sure that's all mixed in well. And the next thing we're going to do is stir in well, if I could talk, we're going to stir in our chocolate. Okay. And we are going to use, I never know if this is going to be upside down or not, but we're going to use Lily's dark chocolate baking chips. She's one of the few ones that actually says vegan on it. You can buy other kinds of chocolate that's vegan. But I have found that not all of Lily's is vegan, but her dark baking chips are. And I'm just going to sprinkle those in and then just mix. Make sure they're all in there real good. And just keep doing this until you've mixed in your whole bag of baking chips. And really, as far as I'm concerned, you can use more or less chocolate depending on how you want these cookies to come out. The recipe asks for a 12-ounce bag. This is actually a 9-ounce bag, but these are minis as well. So I feel like they go pretty good, but these cookies are really good. But if you want a little bit less chocolatey gooiness, you can go with a little bit of less chocolate, or you can do a little bit more. Just watch your baking times, because the wetter you make the cookie, the longer you may have to cook it to make sure it's cooked all the way through. And of course, if you use too much chocolate, then you're just going to have one big giant chocolate mass, and that might not cook at all. You won't have any cookie dough to it. Okay, almost there. And you see it is a good amount of chocolate chips, even though the bag is smaller. I think it's because these are minis. And you definitely get your arm work out. You could use your mixer to do this, but I just find sometimes it's a little bit easier this way. And depending on how strong your mixer is, it can actually like cut up the chocolate chips and make them into dust, and that's not really what we want. Okay, so we have our cookie dough now. Make a little bit of room here. Yes, I am a messy cook. All right, then we're going to have our cookie sheet here. And basically you just want to take, let me bring this back over here so you can see it good. You just want to take a little round spoonful and lay it on your cookie sheet. And obviously the bigger the cookie, you know, it's potentially the longer you're going to have to bake it. I have a habit of liking to make my cookies a little bit smaller. That way they last a little bit longer. You feel like you're getting a little bit more. All right. So you just keep putting your cookie dough on the cookie sheet. Try and space them out a little bit, because sometimes depending on how these cookies go, they will spread out a little bit more. I have not made this as a vegan recipe before, so I'm not sure, because of the vegan butter being a little bit softer than regular butter, they might spread out a little bit more. Okay, one more. And then at this point, once I get them on the cookie sheet, get that little guy. I like to take my hands and just kind of shape them a little bit so they're a little more round, because sometimes when you use the teaspoons, they don't always get as round as you might like them to. And my mother's chocolate chip cookies were always perfectly round. All right, now we're going to take them and stick them in a 350-degree Fahrenheit oven and cook them for 12 to 15 minutes. And again, as I always say, you just kind of have to keep an eye on them, make sure that they're a little bit brown on the edges, cooked all the way through before you take them out. So your oven might need a few more minutes than that, but we'll take them out and see how they look. And I will come back once I've got one of these sheets cooked. So I thought I'd show you another way that you can do these cookies if you don't want to use the 2 spoons. You just kind of mold them and shape them with your hands. And I just take a little scoop out of the bowl, and then I just kind of round them up into little balls. My hands are hot enough that it seems to help kind of mold everything really well together. This will make it go a little bit faster as far as like once your cookies come out of the oven and you're ready for the next batch, you can always just pull a few off of the plate. And as you can see, mine are never uniform in size. I'm not into measuring my cookie dough or any of that kind of stuff. I just kind of eyeball it and try and make them about the same size. I wish you guys could smell this, because it smells wonderful of the coffee and the chocolate together. It smells so good. That's all you do is you can use your hands to just kind of mold them together like that. Some people don't want to get this sticky. And I guess I would say to that, I would say don't make bread, because I don't think you can make bread without getting sticky. There's probably a way, but I don't know how to. Okay, and then you're ready for your next batch that is ready to go. Well, they turned out really, really pretty. See how I've let them get a little bit of a golden brown on them? I'll see if I bring a little bit closer if you can see a little bit better. How they have kind of a golden brown on the top. And you can see where the chocolate chips have melted a little bit. And so this recipe actually says, I usually like to let my cookies rest on the cookie sheet for 2 minutes. This recipe asks for 4 minutes. So we're going to let these just kind of rest here for about 4 minutes and then take them off and let them cool on the cookie rack until they're cool completely. I've successfully made vegan cafe coffee cookies. This is just a regular recipe that takes egg and butter, and we have changed it over to vegan using vegan olive oil, plant-based butter, and applesauce instead of an egg. And they have turned out really wonderful. It is definitely a success. I really cannot taste any difference. And I have had a couple lately that I could tell the difference. But these are definitely a success. They turned out great. I don't know how much better they could have been, as well as, I should point out, the chocolate in here is vegan as well. We used vegan dark chocolate instead of regular milk chocolate. So definitely recommend this recipe for vegans. Obviously you can make it regular vegetarian if you should like, or if you want to make it regular. It's a great cookie recipe, and I'll put all the description down and how to make them below. I hope you've liked this video, and please like and subscribe and help me grow my channel so that I can keep making these great videos for you guys. And I will see you on the next bake.